Hi,
Hi.
everybody. We are sorry we're late, but I want a round of applause because Grace started her first live
It
video.
took a minute, but we're here.
It's everyone knows how crazy it is to learn a new system, and all of you see our beautiful, we're all about transparency here. You see our beautiful videos, but there's a lot that goes into the background. So thank you for your patience. And Grace did a wonderful job. So we're live for Galley Gab Fest. And we're very excited everyone's here with us. While we're getting everything ready to show you, we're going to talk a little library journal, day of dialogue. We're going to talk a little bit about writers to watch. We have some books for you, don't worry. And then I think that's it. We have a fun video at the end, a couple of videos for you. So you want to stay tuned for the hour. And I hope everyone's having a nice spring day wherever they are. And we would love to hear what you're reading. So if you want to put that in the chat, we will talk about that for a second while we get the first slide up.
Yeah. Monica said we need standby music, so I agree. If Virginia was here, we'd be playing Cher. So
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
Alrighty. So first, we want to talk about writers to watch. That's this Thursday. That's our new program where we have 4 authors on to talk about their books, and we take a lot of time to pick those authors for you. We want to show you a good section of what we have coming out for that month or section of time. And this one, we pulled just strong women's stories, especially women's stories through history. We have some fiction, nonfiction. We have a good range for you with some fabulous authors. I can't wait for it. Grace and I will be there on Thursday at 7 p.m. It's on Crowdcast, right where you are if you're on Crowdcast, or on Facebook. Same way you got to this. The links we will put in the chat in a minute. But Grace, you want to tell them about a couple of the books?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Valiant Women in particular. I love nonfiction history books. My background is in history, so reading this one has been really, really fun. And this one's about the 350,000 women who helped the Allied forces in World War II. And it's their stories with oral histories and archival research. And I'm just really excited for everyone to hear from Lena. It was really great meeting. We do like a run through of this program to show everyone how our background works. And that's one of my favorite parts, actually, like meeting the authors beforehand. So I'm really excited about that. And then we also have Canary Girls by Jennifer Chiaverini, and that is about the munitionettes in World War I who helped build bombs. So that is also a really exciting one. And I know Lainey loved A Council of Dolls, so I'll let her talk about that.
Yeah, that's Mona Susan Power. It's beautiful. 3 generation. I mean, that cover alone, like all of the beading work it feels like it looks like you can feel it. It's so beautiful. But it's 3 generations of Native women throughout history. And they are going through Native history in the United States. So you see a lot of struggles with them, you feel for them, but throughout all of this, they are followed by their dolls. They have dolls with them who speak to them and comfort them and tell them truths and get them through things. It's really beautiful. So there's a little bit of that speculative fiction in there as well, but it was powerful. It was powerful, and each person in the story has a library section, or a little bit about where they go to the library. So that's a little fun tidbit. And I know Mona is a big advocate, so she has some fun things to tell you. And then Counting Lost Stars by Ken Van Alchemade. This one is super riveting. I'm learning so much. And it's about these machines, these kind of early computers that were used in Holland, really to move forward Hitler's agenda and know who and where these people were to to find these Jewish people. And so a young woman gets kind of trapped helping her father work on these, and then realizing, oh my goodness, we're computing data and it's really bad. We shouldn't be telling these people. And then it goes back and forth between another woman who has just recently given up her baby for adoption. And so she's going through a lot herself. It's in the 60s. She's took a computer class. So she's also learning a little bit about the history of these computers. And maybe these two women's lives are going to intersect. So I'm really enjoying that one too.
Yeah, I think we have a really great lineup, and we always invite authors to send photos of, something that they referenced in the book or inspiration. And I think this is our first Writers to Watch, Lainey, correct me if I'm wrong, where every single person sent us photos to show. So I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a really juicy episode.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, we have all 4 authors have photos, and they came through on my computer. I was like, I need to know everything about these. So it's already a good sign that we have a lot to talk about on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. And I hope you guys tune in. I put in the Crowdcast and the Facebook chat, the Facebook event page, because it also has a Crowdcast link, and you can read more about the books and find the e-galleys there.
Yeah, and all the e-galleys are there. You also, you don't have to have read the book before you come. That's always a plus. Bring your questions. We have time. The authors are going to speak for 5 minutes each, but at the end, we're coming back together to discuss. And I think that that's the most, organic conversation that can come if you bring your questions. But please, if you can think about it a little beforehand, I think that this is a group of women who have done a lot of research to write these books, and they're a great reference. So please bring your questions.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Day of Dialogue. We're so excited. I don't have a booth to show you yet because it's still in the works. We have something really fun coming, so you'll just have to go to our booth to see it. Day of Dialogue is a free event hosted by Library Journal. I'm gonna put the link in right now. You can sign up. You don't even have to put any credentials in, so anyone can join. And I think it is there for 6 months after, so you can see it if you miss a panel. But it's all day of panels and a virtual exhibit floor. So we'll have a booth there with any links you need, including a link to sign up for our world famous book buzz at ALA in Chicago. So don't miss that. But our authors, it's super exciting. It's a good lineup. Like I'm not just vamping. It's a really good lineup. So we have at first we have Motherhood and Fiction, which is at 10:30. We have Jean Kwok, author of The Leftover Woman. I've been talking a lot about that book. I just talked about it on our podcast, so you have to go listen to that. And Ann Patchett, they're both on that panel. Tom Lake, we're very excited for both of those books. And then we have Laura Lippman on the 11:30 thriller panel, talking about Prom Mom. And then Jonathan Latham, Brooklyn crime novel, and Tim O'Brien, America Fantastica, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. It's the 11:30 fiction touring the United States panel. Laura Lippman and the other 2 authors, those panels are concurrent. So don't worry, it's going to be recorded. You won't miss anything. Sometimes I go back and forth depending on, who's talking. I like to see them all at once. And that seems like the expert level of watching those panels, but you can also go back. So you won't miss anything. 2 o'clock is the Fiction Stories from Our Past panel with Gail Tsukiyama, author of The Brightest Star. We had Gail on our Writers to Watch and was just fantastic. That book's about Anna May Wong. So lots of, like we were just talking about, history and women's history that is sometimes untold or unknown. Very excited. And then Fiction Finding Oneself is at 3:30. So we're having Patrick DeWitt, the librarianist. We just had Patrick on our Writers to Watch as well, so get excited. And then we will have some booth chats throughout the day. The times are at 9, 12:30, and 3. And we'll definitely probably do a buzz at the beginning of the day. And then we're going to have some other authors on, and to be determined, but we have some good ones set up for you. So keep an eye out for that. That's Day of Dialogue. Like I said, you can sign up and it's totally free. So sign up even if you can't join the day of. And of course, we'll be live in the booth virtually so you can chat with us, and we'd love to see you.
Okay. Me and Lainey have a few books to tell you about today. We're starting off with The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin. And if you are a fan of romantasy, you're going to love this book. If you're into forced proximity, enemies to lovers, lots of good tropes going on here. So The Hurricane Wars is the first book in a fantasy trilogy set in a world inspired by Southeast Asia, which is ravaged by storms. I'm really excited. This book is already getting a lot of buzz on TikTok and other social media platforms. Thea has a really great following. So for the people of this world, magic is essential to power their technology, but it is also used to destroy things. Throughout the hurricane wars, storm ships have caused massive rains, thunder, and lightning, and magic is also the reason that there is potential for an entire population and civilization to be eradicated. An orphan soldier, Taliesin, holds a power of light magic that has been thought to have been gone for years, and she's capable of challenging the Night Emperor, who is this ruthless ruler. And then we have Prince Alaric, and this is the Emperor's only heir, and he's tasked with taking out threats through shadow magic. So they're kind of like foils to each other. When something bigger is threatening them, the two know that they can only overcome it by, combining their powers and working together. So the world building in this is so accessible and rich. I personally struggle when reading fantasy with complicated world building at times, and this was a kind of a breeze for me. So I think if you are looking to get into fantasy, this is a good one. It's great for fans of Sarah J. Maas and R.F. Kuang, or any readers that are looking for fantasy that's not so, European centric. I think this is a really great book for that. And we also have some really good quotes coming in. So this is from Allie Hazelwood, the New York Times bestselling author of The Love Hypothesis. And they said, "I've been a die-hard adoring fan of Thea for years, and I thought I knew what she was capable of. But this book, I am utterly enchanted by the lushness of this prose, the uniqueness of the setting, and the spellbinding story she has gifted us with. I physically could not stop reading. Thea's talent is limitless, and she's the kind of writer that comes around once in a generation. Mark my words, the lives will be changed by the Hurricane Wars trilogy." And if that didn't convince you to read this, I do not know what will. It is such a great quote. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. And I do see a question in the chat for a link to the titles. I will put that in there right now. Here is the Edelweiss catalog. Okay.
Alrighty.
That's in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, and then you can follow along. I just noticed this outline of a person. It looks like a geode, which is beautiful, but I didn't notice that until just now. Beautiful. Alrighty. Let's see. Grace, what do you want me to? Why don't I take one since let's do some more historical fiction. I feel like that's gonna be a good one. So we have The Phoenix Crown by Kate Quinn and Janie Chang. It's coming in September. This one is super exciting because it's a mashup of our two library favorites. It goes back and forth between the Great San Francisco Earthquake in 1906 and the glamorous Paris of 1912. Very different women cross paths there. There's this resourceful Chinatown embroideress desperately searching for lost love, and a soprano voiced performer who actually Kate Quinn's background is in opera singing. So that's a little fun extra for you. But these two women come in contact with this man who kind of seems like he holds a lot of answers to their questions. His name is Henry Thornton, and he's a charming railroad magnate who has a collection of Chinese antiques, including the Phoenix Crown, which is this priceless relic from Beijing's fallen summer palace, and it's missing. And so it has these two heroines kind of racing towards it in two different time periods. and it features a heroine of Chinese descent and a story that spans countries. And both of these authors have such great styles of writing, and I know they're big in libraries, but it's a really big treat for us to have them both combined here. And it has just everything you want, and it's blended very well for both of their styles. It's great for book clubs. It's a trade paperback, and there's also going to be a PS section, so there's a lot to discuss. And writing duos are fun. If you like Team W, the Willig White Williams team, this is going to be perfect for you. We love a mashup, and we love different women's stories throughout history. We have a lot of historical fiction for you and a lot of women's stories, which I'm kind of loving.
Completely unplanned, but I'm glad that it's happening.
Right.
All right. Lainey and I decided to freestyle our presentation today, so it's a surprise to us what book is coming up next. I think it's fun. I'm good with it.
Okay. Oh, so I get to surprise you? Okay. This is what I want you to talk about.
America Fantastica by Tim O'Brien. I am so excited for this book. As soon as I heard that we had Tim O'Brien coming up, I messaged Lainey in Virginia and was like, I don't think you understand how much I love him. The Things I Carried, I read it in high school, and it was like one of the first books that made me realize how like powerful reading was for me, and it's still one of my favorite books. I've reread it like 1,000 times. And this is his first novel in 2 decades, and I really think he is back and better than ever. If you've never read his previous books, I really suggest you go back, but this is also a great like starting point, and I think this one's going to appeal to a really wide audience. So America Fantastica, it comes out in October, and I do not believe the eGalley is ready yet, but keep refreshing that Edelweiss catalog for it, because you're not going to want to miss it. So this is set in Trump's America in 2019, and the novel kicks off with a bank robbery. So we start off with a bang, and this disgraced journalist named Boyd Halverson is, committing this bank robbery. So he's in the past been doing these like clickbaity articles and spreading misinformation, and is no longer considered a credible journalist. So he manages to steal $81,000 and takes a bank teller, Angie, along with him as a hostage. So he sets off on this road trip with the goal of getting revenge on a man who he holds responsible for ruining his life. So Angie and Boyd are traveling from all over Mexico to Minnesota, and they have this array of people on their trail: hitmen, ex-cons, veterans, and of course, like ghosts from his past. It seems to be that like everyone is following them except the police. And I think this book is doing what Tim O'Brien does best, which is putting up a mirror to America, greed, and delusion. If you've read his other books, he plays a lot with what is true, what is not true. And it's just really beautifully written, literary and propulsive. It's just a book that only he could write. And I'm just so excited for everyone to read it. I'm just such his biggest fan, and he is going to be at Day of Dialogue. So you can, hear from him in May as well. And again, that comes out October 24th.
Love that. Thank you. So we have Our Hideous Progeny by C.E. McGill. Very cool for this one. Very spooky and gothic Victorian era. It's a debut that has it's a queer reimagining of Mary Shelley's classic Frankenstein. I think that those descriptors like alone should just be like, okay, I don't need to hear anymore. But if you need to hear a little bit more, we're starting with the story. We have Mary. She is mourning a recent death of her infant, as she and her husband Henry are called to his father's estate. The father has died, and there Mary realizes that while she was at home dealing with this really tragic loss, that's it's still something she's dealing with. Victor dealt with this loss by gambling, Henry dealt with this by gambling. So he's ran up this really big debt. She knows her great uncle disappeared under mysterious circumstances in the Arctic, but not the reasons behind it. And as you see these two stories going on, the story of this lost uncle and them trying to grab onto anything they have under them. You see 1853 London, it's buzzing with this latest scientific theories. The debates are everywhere. And Mary and her husband Henry are there. He's a geologist, and they want to make their name in this world of science. So without money or connections, remember the gambling, Mary has a plan to change that after discovering some old papers that kind of tell about the shocking truth behind this great uncle's past. Maybe she can follow in his footsteps. It's queer feminist, and it's a queer feminist story. It's about ambition, obsession, forbidden love, and Mary Shelley's kind of having a moment right now. I think if you want more dark tales that switch up the narrative, if you liked Emily M. Danforth's Plain Bad Heroines, which I could talk about all day, but we won't get into, if you want that kind of vibe, I think this is great to keep that vibe going. And we just got 2-starred reviews for this, one from Publishers Weekly and one from Library Journal. Publishers Weekly said immersive blend of historical and science fiction, brims with surprises and dark delights. And then Library Journal said fans of Mexican Gothic and historical horror with a feminine, sorry, let me start that over that. Fans of Mexican Gothic and historical horror with a queer feminist twist will not be disappointed. Luscious prose and flight they will champion. So we're very excited about this one. Everyone else is too, as you can see. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. It's about to get hot. It's like spring's here, but in New York we have like 1 week of spring and then it's hot. I feel like I need some spooky chills going into that hotter weather.
We have another queer like reimagining as well coming up for Mary Shelley. This one's more about her life, but that is Mary and the Birth of Frankenstein by Anne Akow, and that one is also just, I'm really excited for that. I read the majority of it. I'm still working on it, and it's a great book. That one's Harper Via, I'm pretty sure. Juan, our editor, was really, really excited about it, and it's a good one.
Yeah, well, Grace, that's actually a good segue. I'm very excited for that one as well. Like I said, Mary Shelley's having a moment, and we want to keep that moment going. Juan Mila, editor of that book that you were talking about, is going to come on Galley Gab Fest next month. So keep an eye out for that information. We're going to hear about Harper Via. If you don't know about Harper Via, which I think a lot of people do, because I feel like overwhelmingly, if someone's going to know an imprint that they're going to specifically reference, librarians are telling me how many great things Harper Via is doing. They are translations and stories around the world. So that's not always translations, but for the most part, they do a lot of translations. But telling stories from around the world, and they always show this map that's really cool to say, like, where have we told stories this time, and what are we covering in the world? So we can't wait to hear more from Juan, and that information's coming. So sign up on Crowdcast in this thread of Galley Gab Fest. You won't miss it, and Facebook, it'll be in our events soon.
I also threw in the Edelweiss link for Mary and the Birth of Frankenstein. eGalley is not up yet, but it is a joyous read. I'm very excited. Okay, new Cy Montgomery. So this is Of Time and Turtles. So this book is just very special and unique, and I'm just excited to tell you about it. So Cy is the author of How to Be a Good Creature, and that was a beautiful and profound memoir written for children. And she used 13 different animals who had a deep impact on her life to tell her story. That book got amazing reviews from Booklist and School Library Journal. So Of Time and Turtles is an adult narrative nonfiction book about turtles with beautiful illustrations from Matt Patterson, who also has a huge role in the book. He did the cover of this book as well. And it looks like a photograph. It is that stunning. So in this blend of journalism, memoir, science, and philosophy, Cy uses turtles to talk about humanity and encourages us to slow down and connects us to creatures that we separate ourselves from so much. I really think as humans, especially in the world of, hustling and bustling and technology. We separate ourselves from the natural world so much and from animals, but we are animals ultimately and have a lot to learn from them. And turtles were around when dinosaurs were around. And I just feel like we have a lot to learn from them. And they have incredibly long lifespans. So sci focuses a lot on time and our relationship with time. And when I read that they were around from the time of dinosaurs, I like Googled, like fact checked it because I was like, there's no way, but they were. So Cy and Matt spent nearly 2 years volunteering at the Turtle Rescue League, which helps protect turtles. I loved hearing about how this author really, immersed herself in the work. And I think that is really reflected in this book. So she shares stories of, incubating their eggs, protecting their nests, rehabilitating injured turtles. And one turtle in particular, Fire Chief, is a 42-pound snapping turtle that was rescued after being struck by a truck, and he gets a wheelchair and physical therapy, and you get to follow his journey in this. And it's really this incredibly touching and thought-provoking book. And I think it's also great for people interested in climate change, but it doesn't lean on pessimism. I feel like climate change stories can be so doom and gloom, and that makes sense. It is serious, and I totally agree with that, but this one is hopeful and focuses on healing. And the eGalley did recently go up on Edelweiss and NetGalley, so that is available to you to start reading, and I'm excited for people to get into this one. Valerie said, I have a turtle, Ginger, for 22 years. A patron gave her to me. That's so sweet. Some turtles live to be like over 200 years old. I don't know if it's like a specific type of turtle, but I think they're really cool creatures. I wish I wore a turtle shirt today. I have a bird shirt on, but next time I'll be better at planning.
That's really cool that you have a turtle that a patron gave to you.
Awesome.
That the Soul of an Octopus is just, that one still, comp titles for any kind of nature or animal book is always Soul of an Octopus. That is like the book, and it's still getting so much love years later. So we were very excited to hear that we had a new book by Cy Montgomery. Yeah, I like that it says Mending the World Shell by Shattered Shell.
I know. And I just, the illustrations, like, I cannot believe that is not a photograph on the front. I was just really, taken aback by that.
Yeah. Oh, someone said Cy was my best friend in high school. That's so cool, Barbara.
That's so cool. Is that on Facebook? Oh, I see. Very cool.
Yeah. And then also, I guess we have one last book for you, but before we get into that, there were some great shout outs for what people are reading. Small Mercies among them, and let's see. The Night Travelers. Let's see. Hello, Beautiful. And Todd Kruger said, I'm about to go on vacation and have my tablet loaded with LLF titles, and I said, that's what we want to hear. I hope you have a good time on vacation and you enjoy your reads. Tiffany Girls by Shelley Noble. Let's see, is there any on Crowdcast? Let's see. Yeah, we have Now You See Us. Okay, yeah, we have a lot. And someone said they're so excited for Council of Dolls, and it's really beautiful. I feel like very affecting too. I don't want to make light of any of the stuff going on, but I kept highlighting in my galley, not my actual book, but in my galley, because I just think the words are so beautiful. Okay.
Annie, what are you reading? Like, what's your current read?
Well, I am reading I'm finishing up our books for the Thursday event. So I'm very excited with all the rest of you. Let's see. I'm also reading some stuff I'm not going to go into, but we have our lead read program where the Salesforce votes on a book we're going to get behind. I'm on that committee. Virginia's too, and we're reading some books, and I have some very exciting ones that I've dipped into, but that's the only teaser I can give you. So I'm reading on a little further out. Yeah. What about you, Grace?
I am reading the books for this program on Thursday as well, but outside of that, I'm reading Tenants by Eliza Clark. I was a huge fan of Boy Parts. I'm sure you've all heard me, talk about it. But this one is a critique on, kind of true crime culture, and it's just phenomenal. I've been really enjoying it. It's written in a really cool way. She uses a lot of different types of writing. Like she includes like transcripts from podcasts, Tumblr posts, things like that. So very cool. I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day, like love an epistolary novel.
Mhm.
Anything that's got fun, like if you read Mary Atkins, When You Read This, I just seeing like pizza receipts through email and the timestamp, like the thought that goes into those kind of
Yeah,
writings.
a book that I thought did that really well and it was very funny was Really Good, actually, by Monica Hesse, that we published that come out in January, I believe. That sounds right to me. I read it in November, so I almost said November, but she like included like Google searches from the main character and they were hilarious. And it made me think like my Google searches would be like, have turtles actually been around that long? I don't nearest target. I don't know.
I would love to know in the comments what someone's silliest Google search was recently. I'm sure mine would probably embarrass me. Like how to calculate the
WebMD. Why have I had a headache for so long?
Okay, so before we wrap up, we have one more book for you. It's something that I was so excited to hear about, and I think that on so many different levels, everyone's going to be excited. It's for 0 to 112, like anyone will enjoy this book and they will learn something, but also will have a good laugh. So I'm going to show you what we have as a little bit of a reveal, but it's not a cover. It's just a cover to be revealed. So just, it's called The Old Gay's Guide to the Good Life. What is this book? There's no cover. You can't tell. If you haven't heard of The Old Gays, they're on TikTok. They're a group of 4 men who are hilarious and have shared their life with the world. There is someone behind the camera asking them questions, getting to know them, hearing historically what they've been through, making them do, well, I don't know what making, maybe they're saying it first, but making them do fun dances and recording it. Overall, a complete delight, a wild romp. Love every second of it. So if you have a chance, I'm going to show you a couple videos to get a good idea in a second. But if you have a chance to check it out, it's on TikTok. You can just put at, Old Gays and it'll come up. And I had been following them for a while. And then we had our launch where they tell us about all the books coming for the season. And as soon as I saw their picture, I was like, I am so excited. So they've given me a lot of smiles. So let me pull up the videos that I have for you. So I think I've just pulled a couple of things from their channel. You can go check it out. Quick reminder that we have a TikTok at Harper Library if you want to see what we're up to. I think these give a good idea. Let's start with one to show you how much they've been on everyone's radar. They were on the Drew Barrymore show. They were on Hoda and Jenna. They were on, who else I see? Like Niall DeMarco, I think. There were so many people who have wanted to collaborate with them. So this gives you an idea of like kind of the news coverage. Oh, sorry guys, there's no sound. It says it's playing for me. Let me try this one more time. I want everyone to hear it. If not, we'll put it in the chat. But let me try this one more time.
Was everyone able to hear that? If people want to chime in the chat, let me know.
Okay, let us know. I could hear it. Grace could not. So I want to make sure everyone's good. I haven't seen anybody saying that they can't hear it, so I'm gonna keep playing it.
We want to be friends with them. We want to sit around with our phones and hang out. They are so fun.
William, Jesse, Robert, Michael, all of them. How awesome.
From Cathedral City, California.
I thought they were playing cards, but really they're watching us.
Oh, we love them.
All right. So no sound. Wow, that's so weird. Okay.
I could hear it the second time, so maybe our chat is catching up with us.
So yes. All right. I'm gonna play them for those who can hear. They're only a couple seconds, and I'll put them in the chat if you can't hear it. But it all looks good on our end, so I'm not sure. Possibly, if you refresh your page in Crowdcast, that'll do it for you.
All right. Here's it now.
Okay, cool. Here is one that I think shows their fun side. They do videos and dances.
So this morning I got up and I decided I'm gonna have a good day today. Instead of waiting around for a good day to happen, I'm gonna go out there and make it happen myself. And so can you. Yeah! Because we are in control of our own happiness. So get up, come on. Let's have a good day together. It's up to you. We're gonna have a good day. And all my homies gonna cry today. And all these mommies gonna cry today. And all we wanna do is get by today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day.
Yeah! Good day.
So this morning
I mean, how could you not have a good day after seeing that video?
Their energy is phenomenal.
But I think what's important to say about this book, you know, it's going to have, they range from ages 67 to 80. You know, you should see the comments on these videos, because like there needs to be a reboot of Golden Girls. Like they are so beloved, and they show the fun side, what it's like to get older and retire, but also hard times. You know, they balance those topics, and they do Q&As, which I'm going to show you an example of. But in the book, they're going to have a lot of collective wisdom for us. And I think things that need to be written down and shared. Between the four of them, they have very different experiences. So it's going to be a special read, as well as a lot of laughs and fun. It's going to be delightful. So this, I think, is a good example of something maybe a little more mixed with experiences as well.
How old were you when you first saw the original West Side Story film?
I was 17, and my boyfriend and I took my mom to Grauman's Chinese Theater. It was so touching, my mother had tears running down her cheeks.
I was 15 years old when I saw West Side Story on television, and it was very riveting.
I was 8 years old in Tennessee, and of course that Bible Belt wouldn't let us go to movies or see things like that.
What do you think about the new West Side Story?
Very original. For Puerto Ricans, they actually used Puerto Rican people. It was very authentic.
Rita Moreno, she was back and she worked it.
I loved Ariana DeBose's performance. She was spectacular, and I think it's great that they cast somebody who is one of us.
West Side Story is available
on Blu-ray, DVD.
Yeah, that gives you an idea. You know, there's a lot of different experiences coming in. I also love the photos. Anytime they print out the photo and show them, it's really sweet to me. So I'll put those links in there if you want to go check out their page. You can just keep scrolling, and you'll go down the rabbit hole. But I'm excited about this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, during launch, like they showed the photo and the group chat, there's well over 150 people in that like meeting, and it just exploded. People were so excited, and it was a good one. I'm really excited for everyone to be able to read that.
All right, so here is the last video. I'm gonna put it in the chat and share away. Like I said, every time they pop up, you're going to have a good day, like I said. Okay, anything else, Grace, before we say we bid adieu?
I think that was our last book.
Thank you for sharing what you're reading with us. I hope you have an expanded TBR now. If there's anything we can do for you, if you're not whitelisted already, which means you can get our e-galleys automatically. Don't have to wait for approval. If you work for a public library, let us know. And that Library Love Fest, HarperCollins.com will get you set up. And Day of Dialogue, we'll see you there. Sign up for that free event. That link's in the chat. We'll see you Thursday at our Writers to Watch event. And if you've missed any events, you can go to our website, librarylovefest.com, and on the side there's 2 little links for Writers to Watch and Galley Gab Fest if you want to go back and see things, or send your colleagues over there for any programming or information, author ideas for your library. And we're here to help you. Let us know.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today and for hanging in there with our slow start. I appreciate it.
Good. All right.
Till next time. Bye.
Good hanging out with everybody. Bye.